Welcome to this week's edition of Outdoors Online, a weekly webcast produced by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I'm your host, Tom Jensen. My guest this week is Warden Supervisor Jackie Lundstrom. Part of Jackie's duties are to pass along information about safety on the ice, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Jackie, we've had a very mild winter so far. Nobody would argue that. We are hearing reports, though, of people walking out to ice fish, even some people that are taking four-wheelers out. It's probably not a good idea.
No, not quite yet. The temperatures have been fairly warm, and we've had that mild winter so far. And for ice safety purposes, we say a minimum of 4 inches for an average person
Right,
to
there
walk
are some
on.
parameters that your department uses so people know what they can get away with?
Absolutely, yep. So we start with the 4 inches of ice for a minimum for walking out, and that's single file, not a big group of people walking out. 6 inches, you're looking at maybe more into that snowmobile, ATV being able to use, but again, you know, that's still a caution area. 8 inches, 8 to 12, they say maybe a lighter automobile, and then definitely over 12 inches before a pickup drives out there.
Okay. Jackie, another thing people need to be aware of course, every year is springs. They're very dangerous. They're hard to predict where they're going to be.
Correct. Springs, you know, historically aren't marked out on the ice, and unless you frequent an area and know where those springs naturally occur, the ice stays thin because of the moving water. Also, water that might be still coming out of a hillside into the lake can also keep that area thin. Depending on where it's located.
Another situation this time of year some people might not know about is walking on frozen sloughs. We have, of course, muzzleloader seasons on right now, late season pheasant hunting, things like that. The ice can actually be fairly dangerous on these sloughs. It doesn't freeze normally.
Correct. The areas where the cattails are and where a lot of hunters like to go through, the cattails keep that area not as firm in ice making, so that a lot of times you'll be going through those areas and actually break through the layer of ice that has been made there.
Is it true, Jackie, when we say that ice is never 100% safe?
That's correct. There's so many different factors that can go into the ice and areas of the ice. Whether it's snow cover that inhibits the thickness, the growth thickness of that, whether it's wind action, whether it's the current underneath the ice, all those things can make that ice variable in different spots from 1 step to 2 feet away.
Well, let's do a supposition here. God forbid somebody does go through the ice, and we need to talk about maybe some precautions and what they can do. First of all, let's cover someone in a vehicle.
Correct. A lot of times we'll encourage people to go ahead and roll down at least one window in the vehicle when they're going out. If the car goes through the ice, a lot of times you're not going to be able to open those doors. So your escape route is going to be through your window. So we do encourage that in case that situation does happen.
All right, is there any thing that they can carry with them in a vehicle that may make them a little safer?
Sure, it's always good to have a life jacket with you. If you end up in the water, we always encourage either ice picks or some screwdrivers with to pull yourself out of the water. Have a cell phone with so people know where you're at if something happens. That way you can still be located as well.
And you should check in with someone that you're acquainted with to let them know where you're going to be, maybe what time you're going to return.
Correct. It's always good to let somebody know where you're at, especially during the winter months.
How about driving at night, Jackie? I know a lot of people like to fish at night and things, and pretty good chance you could get lost.
Yes, absolutely, and it does happen. We encourage you to make sure you know your path in and out. If you have a GPS that you frequently use, double check it before you leave. Again, making sure people know where you're at and where you're going. At night, it's easy to get disoriented and maybe drive across one of those pressure ridges or into an open set of water. So try to always take the same path out that you came in on.
Okay. How about somebody walking on the ice?
Walking on the ice, should you fall through, it's always good to have those ice picks in your pockets or a set of screwdrivers so you can pull yourself out.
Some people might not understand that you
Right.
can use these to pull yourself up out of the hole.
Yes, basically chiseling yourself out, you know, chiseling them into the ice and actually reaching and pulling yourself out of that water.
Okay. How about a spud bar?
Spud bars are always good to use, especially when you're walking along. Poke at that ice a little bit, make sure that that bar doesn't go through, because if it goes through, you're going to be going through on the next step.
How about someone that's in a vehicle? Are there things that you can carry in your vehicle in case you see someone else go down?
Absolutely. We always encourage life jackets in the vehicle, even in the winter months. If you have a rope throw bag, even a bottle, empty bottle of water that can float, any other floatable item that you think might be usable in those situations.
All right. And again, we'll go through those parameters that we use to keep people safe during the winter. All
Sure.
right. Jackie, thanks.
You bet.
Here again is that chart showing the minimum ice depths for safe travel. 4 inches should support a group of people walking single file. It takes 6 inches of clear blue ice to support a snowmobile or an ATV, 8 to 12 inches for an automobile, and wait until there is 12 to 15 inches of ice for a full-size pickup. And again, be very aware of springs, especially if you're driving on an unfamiliar lake or you're driving at night. For Jackie Lundstrom and the rest of the staff here at North Dakota Game and Fish, thanks for joining us for Outdoors Online. We'll see you again next week.